just running through a patch here with the Assimil8or. It's a follow-on from the video that I did on using it in its sort of cycle mode. Cycle mode is very similar to say hocketing, and there's also a video on hocketing for Ableton. But I'm doing this in Assimil8or, and really what we're listening to are the first 4 channels here, a kick drum and a noise source as a kind of a snare, and these are all coming up through here. So let me take these down so we can hear one half of the bass line. So 2 of the voices are panned on the right hand side and 2 of the voices are panned on the left hand side. Let me just unhook all of the other CV sources. Gonna have to remember which way round they were, but there we go. Such is the trial of making videos and not keeping accurate notes. A kick drum coming through there. Noise source. So 2 and 4. Excellent, and that's the sort of idea. I also had another source that I was using, which was kind of here with this sort of house chord, but I decided that was just a bridge too far given the current kind of setup, and this is kind of enough to be going on with. Now, the way that I've got this set up is that the VCA for the bass part here, these 4 channels here, the VCA is being controlled by mats. Now, the clock source or trigger source is coming from into channel 4 here, so it's on this red cable, which is over here, channel 2 on the Octocontroller. So channel 2 from there is going into the trigger input for maths channel 4. On the end of full, the EOF from the maths one is triggering channel 1. So channel 4 then, which is coming out of the unity gain output as the purple cable here, is coming into here, into this one. So if I tighten that up, you can hear pretty much disappears. Right, so that's what we have there. And then so when the end of full is triggers the channel 1, this then takes care of this side, which we can make kind of tighten up if we want to, but it also is reliant upon the end of full to kind of get its trigger. And we can, as you can hear, it sort of disappears once the end of full gets sufficiently long off into the future. And we can take care of it in terms of things like the attack. So my kind of goal here was to really sort of work on the idea of channel offsets. So you could actually sort of change the rhythmic perception of the channel 1 part. So you could kind of superimpose something else of a different sort of rhythm. Change the attack. And moving things around. It's quite a delicate relationship between them all, so it takes a little wee bit of time to sort of get them kind of going. So let's just play around with that. Kind of nice like that. It feels quite sort of full. So what I also have, one of the CV inputs here on CVA is being used to modulate the envelope. So the envelopes for 1, 2, 3 and 4 are all being modulated under the envelope here, and they're being modulated by CVA. They have a variety of strengths of the signal source that's coming in, the modulating source. So on channel 1 it's 37, channel 2 it's 17, so very little. Channel 3 it's 32, so a bit more. Channel 4 it's 20. So this is what it sounds like here, and it's coming out of the sum input. So the sum input is going to be a combination of the envelope on channel 1, which is here, positive or negative, and level. The envelope coming from channel 4, a static voltage from 3, which can be used to sort of offset whatever's coming out of the sum. And what I have here is the last source on the Ochd, the last LFO output is coming through 2, and again we can move that around as well. So we use this to kind of use this as a moving voltage to kind of shift the, let's try and get it going. So you can hear it sort of varying from long to short as the LFO cycles around. The LFO is going really quite quickly at the moment, so reducing that means that it will take a while to kind of get around to what it's doing. But again, we can vary lengths by the use of the recurring voltages that are coming out of 1 and 4. And as I said, 3 can be used to kind of tighten it up. So it's only when channel 2 kind of pokes its head over, like the threshold, that you start to get a little bit more movement. That's what we have there. That's kind of an interesting one. What I also have is another voltage coming off of the Ochd, and using this to vary the fall on channel 1 of maths. So that's cycling in and out as well. So that's controlling the shape of the VCA. The sum output then is controlling the shape of the envelopes inside the assimilator. So that's what we have there. And let me get the next source. This one is coming from... So this one is here in CVB. It's going to manage the mutate parameter, which is a bit reduction. And again, this is set out across the different channels, 1 to 4. You can kind of hear it coming in and out. Now, what I'm using is the micro ornament and crime. I'm using it in the hemispheres app, and I'm using the attenuator app that it has on the channel 1 here. So we can use this to kind of alter the strength. As you can hear, I've increased it to 100%. So it's kind of sweeping in and out. And again, what we can do, I mean, you know, if we don't want to have it attenuated, so this is the unattenuated signal. Not too different, but just arguably different enough. Yeah? So let's put that one back in. There's really a different effect from like limiting the range of the voltage and then also managing it in terms of its offset. It does give you a different result because it's being shifted. So that's that one. And then what I also have is the after later audio tilt, which is being triggered also from the Octocontroller. I'm using this to manage the pitch, which is coming through CVC, which is this one here. Now the pitch here is going through the linear FM, kind of giving this kind of, you know, 303-ish types of a bass with the ramps up and down. And it's an interesting kind of pitch relationship. I mean, if I take the fall down, we can hear that the pitch or the linear FM sort of relationship for these first 4 parts here, channels 1 to 4, changes. Bringing it back in. We're going to wait for the envelopes to catch up. So there's quite a lot of interaction between all of the different elements in this patch here. I'm going to bring up the sustain, which is this slightly smaller knob here in the middle. If I take the envelope out, and then put it back in. So we need that sort of longer envelope to be able to kind of appreciate these linear FM type sort of bursts. Let me bring the LFO back up. Sometimes it might be going a little bit too slow. Let me take this one out. Maybe A is being varied a little bit too much. It's really good with the little offbeat. Boom, boom. You can hear that little part there. And so the sort of the level of the envelope being put out is controlled here with the output knob. So this is full, and this is kind of the midway point. Somewhere around about there sort of works. Reducing the full to like a quarter of its value, 50%. 3/4, somewhere around about there seemed to be good. And again, we've kind of got the shaping of the outputs as well. We can make the fall a little bit longer, make it more exponential at the front, and so on. Let me bring some of the sustain back in. Kind of the idea, really. I mean, it's not a difficult patch to kind of set up, but there is a fair amount of time to sort of try and get the envelopes and the VCAs kind of working together. So you can hear here where we get much less overlap. Altering the attack. You can hear points where they sort of start to disagree with each other in terms of their rhythm, and then it's a question of sort of trying to find that sweet spot where they kind of work. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed that short walkthrough. It's an interesting patch, and there are probably not as many examples, certainly video examples of this kind of approach, certainly in terms of using the cycle mode rather than using it as a round robin on the assimilator, using it more as a kind of a hocketing sort of effect. Do have a look at the other video that I've made, and especially where I sort of go through. Let me just give you a quick illustration here. If we take this out of cycle mode, this last one, and turn it back into master, we're dealing with threes now. You can hear that as an effect. So the sort of pitches that we're listening to when we listen to the bass parts here, we're really listening to the pitching for the different samples that are being used, right? They're all basically the same bass sample, or they're not actually. There's bass 1 and bass 2. Forgive me, but anyway, they're all basically at the sampled at the same pitch, and then their pitches are offset by using the pitch parameter here for each channel. So if there are any sort of differences in terms of sort of pitch, they come from the ones that have been prepared, and then the rest is basically the effect of the linear FM coming from the after later audio tilt. Right, so as I said, I hope you've enjoyed that. If you like this, please remember to like and subscribe. Leave some comments below if there's anything you'd like me to sort of cover again or to look at. If you've liked this, please remember to like and subscribe, and see you next time.